to order, and Heidi has the itinerary and that she has worked carefully on. And so we can go ahead and wait for Kalani and Shane. And I know Linda's on now.
And
so
Lonnie and Shane.
Shane is in the meeting.
He just logged in, Don.
I don't see anybody. How do I get in?
So everyone, as you guys figure this out, I have a hard stop at 11:30 as I go to my next meeting. And so that means you really have 10 minutes with me. If you don't start, I'm gonna have to leave at 11:30.
And I see Kalani has come on. Is that true, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Did everything that I just say come through? Did you guys hear me?
Yes, we heard you, Shane.
That was
No, Kalani.
Oh, Kalani. Well, since you're first on our guest speaker, why don't we start with you? This is Robert, and Kalani, I'm sitting in for Dwayne Lammers.
Okay.
He couldn't make the meeting today. And I'm Robert Frost with Hana Gold, so I'm Vice President of the
Hi,
Business
Robert.
Council.
Yeah, sorry guys, I have a hard stop at 11:30. Maybe I can go a minute or two over, but I have an 11:30 meeting. So,
Well, why don't we start out with you then, Kalani?
yeah, thank you. Let me see, there's 16, so 14 HANA members on this meeting. Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. Mondays are always busy. I want to get right into our topic here, and that is the management system that we're trying to put in place. We have the consultants came out to HANA, they were here. Many of you talked to them and met with them. So, you know, the genesis of this is that when we did the blockades in the HANA highway, people actually liked the slowdown for a bit and the idea that we didn't have all this traffic and all of this congestion. And so the overwhelming comment was that we don't want to return to what it was. And in order to not return to what it was, we have to have something to go to. So that's what led to this. I'm in the process of working with the same company that put together the management plans for the state of Hawaii. That's Hana and KA on Kauai. And they're also working on the Diamond Head Monument in Honolulu and Wainapanapa State Park. And basically some sort of reservation online system and also economic development online. So they were out here, they met with a lot of people. We got them, you know, in the middle of COVID, it was difficult. So we got them their exemptions to come, and they met with many of you and also had to cancel their trip to Honolulu because the lockdown there. So they have been doing a lot of discussions with the state people in Honolulu and other interested parties. But yeah, so they're putting something together and will come back to us at some point shortly, and we'll take it from there. But the idea is to put in something that will allow us to manage, as we can manage the inflow and outflow of people in and out of East Maui. One of the things that, you know, all of you guys can think about and consider is how do you, what's your, what's the correct term? What's your online electronic presence and how you interface with this and whatever other systems that come up. So what we've learned is that a lot of destinations around the world are heading towards this type of system. The state of Hawaii has, the DLNR has voted, their board has voted to allow for reservations and for also fees in the state parks, which Wainapanapa will be one of the second one to go online. And then the third will be the Diamond Head Park in Honolulu, which is, you know, very, very big. And there'll be others that will come online along the way. In this process, you know, working with the mayor and the county administration, the county side has agreed that whatever system we put in, that they will adopt and put in on the backside, so we have both sides. And also the county is asking us if we can make this replicable for other areas of Maui, which can be, it just takes the proper amount of resources. So that's where we are with that particular system. And you know, I'm trying to cover this really quickly, so we have about 4 or 5 minutes for questions. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll open up for any questions.
Well, Robert here. I think I can get this done in 2 or 3 minutes. Our concern as the business council is all businesses, because what happens on Oahu, what happens on Maui really affects Hana business too. And I personally have found the inconsistency of the rules for quarantine on each island and for quarantine of certain activities and businesses. They change so much that businesses are confused. I went to Oahu for the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. I participated in the aviation end.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, they had the shutdown on Oahu. And businesses that I did business with were so confused, they couldn't tell me if they were going to be open the next day or not.
Mm-hmm.
I have found this to be on Maui too. Some of our small stores, they get confused when the rules change and they don't know if it applies to them. So there's a lack of communication to a lot of businesses on the different rules.
And that ties into a management system, how?
Pardon
Or is
me?
that just a general question?
It's a general comment.
I see. Okay, so the quick answer to that is we're in the middle of a pandemic. Everything is fluid.
Right.
You're not gonna, nothing can be, you know, thorough. The county, I mean, we're still trying to figure out half the county rules, you know, the state side. And when you call them, you get different answers from different people.
That's
The mayor
correct.
will tell you one thing, his assistant will tell you another, the numbers they give you to call will tell you another, Don and Shane will tell you another, and Hana, other people. So, you know, it's the same thing that we deal with the county rules. And so, yeah, because it is inconsistent. I mean, right now, for example, the exemptions are getting tighter. And frankly, you know, I support the mayor in being very tight on it, but he's done some things where, like, you know, for example, he wouldn't give exemptions to firefighters, state firefighters that needed to go to Molokai. And if without those exemptions, we would have had to shut down the airport. And so we, you know, we finally got the Attorney General and the Adjutant General, Colonel Hara, to override all of this and give them the exemptions. So being overly cautious nearly shut down the airports on Molokai and Molokai, right? Because they couldn't get the essential workers there from Maui because the mayor's office wouldn't issue them their exemptions. So, you know, these are the kinds of things that, yeah, it's because it's a confusing time. There is no consistency right now because it changes daily. Right now, the numbers are evening out, but still high for Oahu. For Maui, you know, we've been fairly lucky, but it all comes down to when people start moving. So the one commonality that you can see is that when people start moving, numbers go up. So that's the quick answer to your question, is that, yes, it's going to remain inconsistent as we move forward. And since we devolved power down to the counties, each county is very, very different. So the way Kauai does it, the way Big Island does it, the way Maui County does it, and the way City and County of Honolulu does it are all very different now. Sorry about it. Doesn't help, but that's the situation. Susie, you're raising your hand.
I'm just curious, you know, for people, so my understanding of this system is that it's sort of somehow voluntary. And so my question is—
it's not sort of somehow. There's no way that we can make it mandatory.
Okay.
I mean,
So
it's a publicly funded road, so you cannot stop anybody from traveling on the county road or the state road.
So my question is for the reservation system, which I am in support of. I'm curious how it will affect people who are coming to Hana and staying in Hana. you
We don't
know,
know. That has to be worked out.
I'd like to just make a request that for people who are coming in and staying in Hana, those people do benefit Hana economically somehow, right? From employment and so on. They're not just passing through and we don't know who's spending money and who's not, you know, on the thousands of cars that are coming up. Will people who are coming to Hana to stay and patronize, you know, hotels, businesses, and so on, can they be exempt from, you know, this requirement, or
I don't
even,
know.
you know?
It can't be, it's not a requirement, and so there's no exemption because it's not a requirement.
Senator, I think to better address Susie's question, I think, you know, in regards to visitors coming to Hana, this whole system is designed to make the visitor experience a lot easier. You know, and that we're almost trying to change the way we do visitor tourism by, you know, if you're gonna do, you're gonna go to this place, you're gonna visit this certain area, you know, we're gonna encourage folks that, you know, there's gonna be time slots and that you plan ahead. Of course, like anything else, you know, there's always gonna be that accommodation to walk in. You know, so we're still trying to figure out these intricate details. But your point is something that the consultants are trying to look at, is how do we, you know, find a balance between, you know, making a reservation while also still providing the opportunity to have these types of walk-in experiences. I hope that's kind of where you're going with that.
Well, and is Wainapa Napa the same? Does
Yeah, so
Wainapa
there,
also
yeah,
have
so
the same thing where we can't?
that's going to be with the
be
state.
Well,
really-
why Napa, you have to have a reservation.
Yeah, so that's a state side. So Parks is actually working on that one.
Okay, so they will be different systems and there will be different rules.
We don't know.
Okay.
Robert here, I'm back with you. Sorry, our internet.
Hi, Robert. I see Chuck Thorne.
Yes.
Chuck?
Oh, here, I'm unmuting you, Chuck.
Not there. I don't have an audio, but I do. I mean, I don't have a visual. I do have the audio.
That's okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Now I
Yes.
can.
Yes.
Okay. I think everybody who lives here for a long time, like myself,
There. Okay.
find the biggest problem for the traffic flow on the Hana Highway is slow drivers that block 50 cars behind them. And we all know that, and it's very maddening, and it causes road rage and people trying to pass on blind corners to get past these really slow people. We've asked for years if they can't put up signs all along the way to ask slow drivers to please pull over for local traffic. And I'm talking to Heidi the other day, she said, maybe we could put one of those signs, and everybody that has an Adopt a Highway sign, the posts are already there, just attach one of those signs. So if by the time they get to Hana, they will have read that about 30 times, and they might get the point. And then on the way back and the way there, if people would just behave like that, I think it would alleviate a huge amount of congestion on that road that drives us all insane.
Thank you for the suggestion, Chuck, but you know, it doesn't work. We have too many signs as it is, and people have ignored all the signs. So at a certain point, the signs no longer matter. So we have too many on the road, on the Hana Highway. And, you know, most people ignore them anyway. I mean, you know, the speed limit is 15 miles an hour. You guys all follow that?
No.
But you're ignoring the sign. You see what I'm saying?
They need to raise
ignores
all the
signs
limits
on the
also.
road. And the psychology of the signs have already proven that they don't work. We've looked into them in different parts of the state and actually nationally. They're saying that at a certain point, too many signs and we already surpassed that. So the signage, you know, it's a good idea. It works in concept because your rational mind is saying, oh yeah, if they see a sign, they would do it. But practically on the ground, it doesn't. You know, the other day I was leaving at 6:30 in the morning, and I had a Hawaiian mother lady in front of me that was going literally about 15 miles an hour. It would not let us pass, one of our own, would not let anybody pass, about 5 or 7 or 8 cars behind us all the way out. So, you know, we tend to think that it's the tourists, but it's our own people doing this as well.
I know.
And so we have to own it and say, okay, our people need to be educated. Probably it's better to educate our guys. most of the time when I'm stuck behind somebody, it's usually somebody from Hana, and I usually know who it is.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I
Well,
understand.
and every windy mountain road I've ever been, they've had signs like that that said, please pull over at these pullouts to let local traffic by. On every mountain road I've ever seen when traveling through the country. And I don't know.
Sorry, I'll take one more quick question, and then I gotta go because my other meeting is waiting. So
Okay.
thanks. Anyone else?
I just want to follow up on that point. I agree. I understand what you're saying, Kalani, about there not being about there being too many signs, but the Hana Road has never had any signs saying please pull over. And maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't, but you know, there's no message at all telling people that they should be willing to pull over. So I can understand Chuck's point that
Yeah, I'm not arguing about that's why I said it's a good point. I'm just saying that, you know, it hasn't worked in other areas that we've tried it. And to put up, already we have too many signs, right? So the federal the guys that fund most of our road, you know, they're saying there are way too many signs on that road already. So, you know, I mean, that's neither, you know, I agree. I mean, I agree that we have to have some messaging, but I don't think another sign is the way to do it.
So
All right.
thank you so much for joining in the conversation. In the chat, Jacob posted a number where we can reach out if we have more questions. I just opened .com site because we are trying to post the updated information for what's affecting businesses. And if there's any easy links that your office has, and as this develops, we'd love to make sure we have that available as a resource here. We created this drop down and even included a workforce resource link. So
Nice.
we want to keep building this out, and
Thank you.
that would be of value for economic development.
Yep, and we will send it to you folks as it progresses, and we'll make sure to keep everybody informed. But I did put my email address, so if anyone does have any questions later, please feel free to send me an email there.
Yeah, so, and everybody, Jacob Aki is my chief of staff, for those of you who don't know. And I see a couple questions. Yeah, Max, it'll probably be multi-interface, so online, app, all sorts of different ways to interface with the system. Right now, it's still conceptual. Okay, everybody, I got the other guys waiting, so it's good to see you, and I wish I could spend more time with your meeting, but I have to get to the next one.
Thank you very much, Kalani, for joining our meeting.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Bye-bye.
Aloha. Okay, I think we may as well keep in order. Linda is, I believe, with us.
Robert?
Oh, yes, Shane. Hello.
Yeah, and I just real quickly,
Yes.
you know, and since we're on the subject of the Hana Highway, for
Yes.
one, Kalani did bring in hire some people to go ahead and do the reservation system. And I just wanted to add that we support that, and the county supported the appropriation of $200,000 towards the Hana Highways Education Fund. So that funding is helping him to do that program. I just wanted to add that. The second thing is our office, including Don Lono, has been writing, we've been writing out a lot of letters to the Department of Transportation. We've definitely asked for more signage, but our signage has been strictly, like some of you have mentioned, going down towards Ke'anai, where there's some safe pullout areas, from mile marker 18 down to 19. We've asked that there be turnout signs there because those are safe areas. We've also asked that no one stop between mile markers 14 and 15. This is where both accidents went off before you get to Honolulu. So we're
Right.
asking that signage be there, that there is absolutely no stopping as you go around that bin. And we've also asked about covering the whole at mile marker 23, where there's a lot of people just popping their heads out of the cave right there as you get right before you get to Pua'aka'a. So these are some of the things that we've been asking, and again, it's for us. We only ask for signage because signage is the most, I guess, the low-hanging fruit. You can just put up a couple signs, and hopefully, at least that'll deter. If not, if we deter one, that'll help. Also, in last year's legislative package, we did include a bill to have slow-moving traffic to turn out, to use turnouts if you've got 5 or more cars behind you. Washington State has a similar law that if you have 5 or more cars behind you, you need to turn off in a slower moving lane. And there's a couple places on Highway 30 going out to the Olympic Peninsula, but we have only certain places, and the state has said those are areas that the state would have to acquire to have some turnout lanes. And of course, lawyers have come back, like Kalani had mentioned, because the highway, the speed limit is 15 miles per hour. We cannot force people to turn out because they're going less than, or they're going at the 15-mile-an-hour mark. So I just wanted to add those things that we've been trying on our end, but we can let Ms. Pupolo go ahead, and then I can address you guys later. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane.
I just wanted to add one thing. I did try calling the Adopt a Highway program, and I haven't gotten through to that office yet, just to get a current status for East Maui on where those signs stand. I've been feeling this compulsion to actually go and clean them because they're really dirty. But anyway, I think we can keep working as a community, and I want to make sure we're in touch with the things going on with the county. So thanks for adding that information in there. It's definitely something, it's all in our minds regularly. So.
Hi, Shane. Hi, this is Gary Chow. I just wanted to throw something in there. Is there any possibility that we can get the car rental people to educate or put a flyer in the cars or something to inform the tourists about, some kind of protocol on the Hana Highway?
Thank you, Gary, for that question. That has been brought up several times. And we have to try it. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, we've tried it before," or people just throw it out the window. But I mean, like you mentioned, we should try it, and that was the intention of the Hana Highways education fund. And there were people trying to go after the fund for that specific reason, to see if they could work with rental car agencies to put those hangers on the mirrors. The Hana Highways had their code of conducts that they want to include. So some other people have mentioned that an app to show that where the bathrooms are, where all the mile markers are. So those types of things. Now that everybody has, I don't know if it'll work on the Hana Highway since connectivity is, you can't get any, but those are some of the things that people have been working on, Gary.
Yeah, my belief is that Robert here, that the car rental agencies do have an obligation to educate or even vet some of the drivers that rent their cars, since they're making a lot of money off of it, for one thing. That's my comment.
And one other quick comment too, and all of you guys have probably faced this, but in all honesty, I drive out once or twice a week, and I have to say that 95% of my problem is not slow drivers. It's all the damn idiotic people that drive 95 miles an hour on that highway on the wrong side of the road. So I don't know if any of you guys have had that problem where you have to slam on your brakes or move to the side because some young kid in a Toyota happens to be on your side of the road as he comes around the corner. But I think that's another real big concern.
That is a
for me
concern,
anyway.
and it's a separate issue from the car rental, but certainly a concern.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I
Okay.
talk?
That's,
Jump in, Chuck.
go ahead.
Okay. Would it be possible if the Hana Business Council say would actually pay for some of those signs to add to the Adopt a Highway signage? And since Kalani believes it wouldn't work, a lot of us believe enough to put a little money in because we think it would work. If we paid for the signs, I think they would allow it.
That may be a little difficult at this point, considering the shutdown that we've had to a lot of to some of our members.
Well, right now, of course, I'm talking when things get better again. When the tourists come back again, we're back in business.
I think it would be something to revisit.
It's a state highway, so you wouldn't be able to put up on the state portions of the highway. But if there are people that live on the highway or there's areas, private property owners, you might be able to. I can check on the backside, on the county side, but because I was going to put up my own signs too. But,
Next to your
I did.
body,
Jesse Nakaoka said I could put one near him. So go ahead and put it up by Jesse's place.
What about at Twin Falls, having a sign, maybe if we paid to have a sign put up, a very, very tasteful one, and we mentioned, you know, about the restroom and some of the sites, but also blend and mix in some of that protocol about, hey, look, you know, you guys are holding up traffic, please pull over and so on. I mean, some places like Twin Falls, because a lot of that traffic actually stops there.
Yeah, well, I think we should take this as a table item. You know, we know people all along the highway, and there's a lot of work that's being done, so we can kind of survey the information we do have. This has been a long-standing issue, and we can continue on with our agenda today, but know that this is definitely something we'll keep in the conversation. How's that sound?
Okay.
It's something to keep on the itinerary for a discussion in the future when things lighten up a little bit.
Yeah. And Shane, any information you can email to us, that'd be great. Okay. Shall we continue on, Bob?
Continue on. Yes. Did anybody have any questions, any more questions for Shane? Or is he still with us?
He's here.
Okay.
Max?
Do you want me to do my presentation now or after Linda?
Makes no matter to me, either way.
Okay. Linda, how's your schedule?
My schedule's good. I really wanted to listen in to your meeting anyway, even if I'll tell you the things I have to say, but I wanted to be up and understand what's going on in your community. So I'd stick around a while anyway. It's fine.
Okay.
And the time.
Shane, yes, go ahead.
Shane, this is Max Bose. I was wondering what's the intended use of the $200,000 on the Hana Highway Education Fund? How is that going to be utilized?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so it was, I appropriated the 200,000 because both Lanai and Molokai had appropriations of $200,000 for their visitor education. So we asked for the same 200,000 appropriation for us. I believe the Hana Highways regulations was trying to go after the money to do some of that education with some of the rental car, the tour vans, and work with them. So, but they weren't able to get the grant. I think time had run out before they could get their papers in order. So that's why Kalani, that money was available from last year's budget. So Kalani went ahead and accessed those funds for the reservation system.
So they're going to be used for the reservation system.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
Max.
That answers my question.
Hi, can we talk about the farmer's market?
We're following our agenda right now, and we do have an update on community resources after our speakers, Linda and Shane, give an update.
Okay. Okay.
And just, Linda, I do have the link here for the workforce resources, the American Job Center and the Maui County Virtual Job Fair. If you want me to you can share your screen if you have anything you want to cover. But if you want to take the floor, please go ahead. We're trying to, you know, our meeting is from 11:15 to 12:30. We can go a little long, but you know, we're just trying to get through the.
I think I can just talk it through.
Okay.
I don't think a problem. So you want me to go now?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So I'm Linda Popolo, and I'm the Executive Director of the Maui County Workforce Development Board. And my job is to oversee the American Job Center, which is in the Maui Mall. We have 2 American Job Centers over there, an annex and a regular American Job Center. And the reason we have 2 is because during COVID, we were forced to social distance and we had no space. So we made space. The job of the American Job Center is to actually service people that are underserved. It's through funding, federal funding called WIOA, W-I-O-A, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. And that funding comes to us from, like I said, from the federal government. So we were at a 2.6 unemployment rate in February. We had a staff of 3. We still have a staff of 3. And now we're at a 60% unemployment rate. So we know that we can't service the volume of people that we want to service and do a good job unless we have some virtual tools, which really helps the Hana community because Hana anyway always needed these tools. So it's good that we develop things that equalize the playing field. So the first website is called the MauiAmericanJobCenter.com. And what it has on it is a whole link of how to do your unemployment, how to register for HireNet, a whole link about relief funding, a link about how to get training and services if you're underserved and you don't have a job, dislocated workers, adult program, youth program. So all kinds of programs and a lot of information about how all these programs work. We developed that in March, knowing that we needed to be able to have a tool to talk to people and help them through their unemployment. It also formats on a cell phone and a computer. So, you know, almost everybody can reach it. Now, if you can't reach it, we know there's a lot of people out there that don't have, right now their Wi-Fi is getting cut off and their cell phones are having a hard time keeping them. And so we do have services in the Maui Mall at the American Job Center that people can actually come in and use our computers and be guided through finding a job or finding training to get a job. There aren't a lot of jobs out there right now, but I'll tell you what my next plan is. So it's called the one-stop shop because you can look for a job, you can get relief funding, you can sign up for Medicaid, all different kinds of services in one place. That's why it's called the one-stop shop. And then after when UH was, usually they have their job fairs in June, and we knew that couldn't happen. We couldn't have a traditional job fair. So we got together with the University of Hawaii and we created what's called the Maui County Virtual Job Fair.com. And it's a tremendous resource. You can actually register to go to school. You can do your FAFSA, you can do all kinds of opportunities on there. You know, looking forward to what kind of opportunities are available in the community. Training at UH. Right now, UH actually has free classes. My son just signed up for a digital IT class that's completely free. So there's a lot of funding going on right now to train people, and you can train people from your homes if you have the internet. Now, for the people that don't have the internet, one of the reasons I got into talking to the Hana Business Council in the first place was because I wanted to be part of a discussion to improve broadband. And I listen in, and I'm not the person that's going to improve broadband, but my voice is committed to finding ways to get everybody services that they can use to get a job, and hopefully eventually bring other jobs into job diversity. 10 years ago, when the Maui Island Plan was developed, they said two big things in it. One was that we needed job diversity and not to be dependent upon the tourism industry. And, you know, of course, Hana only has so much, you know, everybody goes out there to see Hana, but there's not a lot of reward for that in Hana, because the beauty is the road itself, not the businesses at the end of there. I mean, the businesses are great, but the resources are capped, and there's not a lot of financial reward to Hana for it. So we thought about it, and said, what could we do to improve the situation in Hana? And the second thing the Maui Island Plan, besides diversity, said that we need to reduce imports. Those are the two big things that I would like to work on in sector strategy. So I got involved with the Hana Business Council, because instead of developing a sector strategy, you guys are already formed. I would just be able to tap into that and listen to what kinds of things could happen. I applied for 600 grand in disaster funding, and it looks pretty good that we're going to get more than the 600 grand. So I want to start with Molokai and Hana. And everybody said, why do you want to start there? And I said, because those are the most underserved communities with the highest unemployment rate. That's where we need to start. Plus, they're smaller. We can make models and move them into other communities. So my idea for Molokai is 40 IT jobs, because they've been moving towards STEM for quite a while, and they really don't want tourism. And I have a company that is sitting there waiting for my disaster fund to be able to train 40 people and give them jobs remotely in the Hana community. The next thing he did is we talked a lot over the time, and Hana, sure, we could do some remote jobs for there too, but some of the other jobs that maybe this disaster funding could support are, how about a program director for your radio station? And then you have about 4 different kinds of conservation companies, and we could maybe do a few part-time, a few temporary jobs for those. And then the Hana Cultural Center certainly needs somebody to help manage the newsletter and this. So those are the kinds of things that I've been working on and trying to write these into my disaster funding. What we would do is we would hire these people, and it would only be temporary. We'd have to come up with funding to keep it going later, but we could hire these people on this temporary funding for a while, and it would be through an employment agency would pay them. But the people in Hana would be managing them, not me. And my funding would support that. And then the other part of the funding we would look for, and the reason I came to you is I want to know, how can we diversify the job base in Hana? So we've got some ideas already. We're moving toward making those positions and making that work. But what else can we do to diversify the job base in Hana to make jobs that are going to be not just temporary, but there and remote jobs. And then the third component would be, I have been, one of the things that we don't do real well is we don't have a real entrepreneurial program that's solid. I can't get my entrepreneurial program. WIOA will not fund MEO's program. So, and MEO's program is only $300. It's not like the end of the world. We could support people in other ways for that program, but we can't pay the $300. But we could support people in other kinds of, you know, other kinds of things as support positions for our programs. Any dislocated worker, anybody that lost their job from COVID, anybody that has underserved, maybe they don't have the skills to get another job, we can send them and get them the skills they need. If there's any time for people to dream the next job, it's now, because there's training opportunities and funding available. So that's why I came to Hana Business Council, and that's why I came to you folks, because I love Hana. I go there every chance I get. I love the community. It's a great community, but I don't own Hana, and I don't understand Hana like people that live there. So I cannot make decisions for your community. So I need every one of you to give me ideas so I can move toward better grant opportunities and keep the ball rolling. Plus we've also talked about making a mini workforce center there. And I think it's a great idea. And I think I have to just keep working on the funding to get it funded. But I think position-wise, I can come up with maybe 12 jobs, good solid jobs in the very near future, in the next 2 months. Probably can come up with 12 living wage jobs for the community, and that's a start. It's not where I want to end. It's a start. So I answer any questions that you have. I urge you to go on the websites and look at them and tell people about them, because they're very interactive and they have a lot of information to help people get where they need to go.
Well, Robert keeps blipping in and out. He's being affected by Kealaku. So just to note that. And, Susie, you've had your hand up. You're on mute currently. I'll unmute you here.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can now.
So my, two areas. One in particular for me, I run Hanakai, and we have 17 units here, and each unit has a kitchen. And one of the places that I've been saying this for years, we need a really good appliance repair person or company in Hana, because there's a huge need for it. And I just sent one guy out of here, this morning, who charges $80 an hour, to fix refrigerators and so on. It's a great job, and it's a service that we need really badly in Hana. The other one is auto mechanic. The problem with auto mechanic is not really having a certified place where you can do it. But appliance repair is a darn good job for somebody. And I really felt like we ought to try to do something through the Hana school to get someone trained in that. You can go through a regular training, for that. And it's a really good job, and it will support more than one person, I believe. So
great. I love it, Susie. And I've used your appliances many times and have stayed on a time many times. So I get it. I tell you, that's a great suggestion. If you have any information on classes, we can maybe get them on our list. We can look at, if there's somebody you have in mind in Hana that would be really good at this, we could get that person trained, because we don't want to bring somebody in. We want a Hana resident to get the job, right? Yeah. So we need to you guys need to network and find the people. As far as the auto mechanic, there's absolutely no reason why somebody couldn't do that. I mean, there's a really good class at the college. They're virtual right now, but they would have to come in to do certain things, that hands-on type of things. They would have to come in, but they don't have to come in every day. A lot of it, they could start with the books. Auto mechanics is actually already an in-demand occupation. And as far as in-demand occupation for the appliance repair, it isn't an in-demand occupation, but it could be because of COVID, because people can't, drive the road, because, we could definitely find ways to look at that and get it funded. If you have any information on the classes that you've seen, please send them to me. And then the second thing is, if you have somebody in mind that you think would be really good at this, that just needs a hand up. Maybe they need some education. Maybe they need, you know, their GED. I don't know what they need, but, you know, maybe they need tools. My program can actually buy, they can't buy like thousands of dollars worth of tools, but they could get them started with work boots or tools, or, you know, they could get them, we could give them gas money to come in when they needed to take their classes. So there's lots and lots of opportunity with those two things. And I really appreciate questions.
Some kind of funding that would help them to get mobile. You need to have a good vehicle, you know, a really good van where you can, you know, keep parts and tools and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes for people out here in Hana, it's a setup that they need as much as like some kind of an education. But I did speak to someone at an appliance, I won't mention the name, but there is a person in one of the appliance companies on the other side who I spoke to, and I'll get that information and I'll give it to you. And they were really interested in helping to train someone in Hana out of the goodness of their, you know, just out of, you know, love for Hana and wanting to help out in this situation. So, yeah, so I think that that would, for me as a business owner, and something that I deal with all the time, and as a homeowner, you can't, you know, nobody, Sears gives you a warranty, but they'll come out, you know, 6 weeks from now, you know, and you need your refrigerator tomorrow. So it's just a really good opportunity for someone.
Yeah, it sounds, you know, perfect for the community. This is the kind of things we need to support. I think the Office of Economic Development could take a loan. I mean, not a loan, but a grant for something like that. I think not my office. The problem with my office is that they have to be trained. I have to get it on a certain list for them to get the training. I can't pay for it because it's a federal program. I can't pay for it. Like I couldn't let the guy, we could do on-the-job training and we can pay the guy to train the guy. We definitely can do that, but I have to actually find, to get an actual certificate or something like that, I'd have to find a program that was approved, industry approved. But we could do OJT with somebody and pay for it. So that's there's lots of ways to do it.
So I'm seeing another question here from Chuck. Want to jump in, Chuck?
Yeah, I don't think everybody needs help. What they need is to relax the home-based business laws, because it's illegal to repair cars from your property. And also signage laws. You can't hang a sign out there that says I repair cars, because that's illegal. So if you relax a bunch of those rules and regulations, things would take off naturally on their own without all this funding and programs and everything else. People do all kinds of businesses if they were allowed.
Yeah, I can't do anything about that, Chuck, but in Central Maui, they have mobile auto mechanics that work out of their vehicles, and that is legal.
It's not very easy to jack up a car from a mobile van.
It sure isn't. I agree.
No.
But also in Hana, that works because we don't have, even if we had a place to do it, you know, maybe the individuals in Hana, you know, wouldn't, you know, just affordability and everything in order to build a shop. An auto shop out here that was mobile would be extremely helpful for people in Hana, because, and if you need to do really big work like pulling an engine or something like that, or things that are you know, get mixed in with EPA environmental standards or whatever, those things can be done on the other side. But it's the basic, my brakes are out, you know, my car won't start, I need a new starter. Those kind of things are really needed out here, because it puts you down for days and weeks on your vehicle when someone really could show up in a mobile unit and work on your vehicle at your house, which, like you said,
and it can be a career path to that shop someday.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, sometimes you can't start with the big thing. Sometimes you got to start with something that's a career path to the big thing. That's so right. I'm just saying, you know, there's room there. There's definitely room there. And I like I said, I can't fund a vehicle, but it doesn't mean that we can't get the person's credit ready, we can help them with credit. We can help them with some work until they get there. I mean, we can support them in a lot of ways. We can help them with a business plan up to a place. And then once we get them ready, they can take that business and take it off, you know?
So
I'll tell you
I'm going to,
another thing.
because we
I've been,
the meeting
go ahead.
along. But I do want to thank Linda so much for all of her engagement that she's been giving us. She's been helpful. We're going to move into a motion down the agenda a little around doing conversion to a nonprofit for the HBC. She's been helping us with our business development, and we'll need to be continuing to work with that for our strategic plan development and whatnot as an organization. Definitely economic development and support for the area is key right now in East Maui. And on that note too, so is you know, the agricultural innovation, and I want to make sure we have time for Shane to speak before we cover some basic HBC business and people need to carry on with their day. So Shane, can you just jump in, please?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, mahalo.
Yes.
Okay, mahalo for inviting me today for your annual meeting. I wanted to provide your members with information about the November election, particularly the 7 charter amendments that will be on the ballot. Real quick, the first charter amendment is the Affordable Housing Fund. And the question will ask you whether to increase the Affordable Housing Fund from 2% to 3% of the real property tax revenues. As you know, we've got a affordable housing shortage, and this will help to increase that funds for more affordable housing projects. The second charter amendment is establishing a managing director. And so currently the managing director falls under the mayor's office and is approved by the council. This charter amendment will allow the mayor, a council member, and 3 citizens to approve this position. Historically, the managing director will switch out every 4 years with the outgoing mayor, and this will ensure that the continuity of county businesses and projects. For the third charter amendment, stricter term limits for council members. So this charter limits council members to only serve no more than 5 consecutive terms. This amendment addresses a loophole in the charter that sometimes allows council members to take a break in their service and then later on come back to serve more than 5 terms. The fourth amendment is stricter term limits for the mayor, and this one just makes it very clear that it limits the mayor to serve only 2 consecutive terms, a total of 8 years. The fifth charter amendment is conflicting interpretations of the charter. And for this charter amendment, oftentimes in our charter rules, there exist laws that are ambiguous and oftentimes and open to multiple interpretations. So this charter amendment would direct the interpretation to the intention of the law within the county charter. The sixth one is establishing the Department of Agriculture, which our committee had proposed. This charter amendment creates a new department within the county government. The intention is to promote food security on the island by increasing the economic diversification within the agriculture sector and boost residential health. The State Department of Ag only appropriates less than 0.5% of the total state budget. And so this department will increase funding for small farmers and hopefully through more grant funding. And finally, the last charter amendment is the charter commission change. This charter amendment allows each of the 7 members to choose 1 member for the charter commission, and the mayor chooses the other 2 members. Oftentimes, having too many members chosen by the mayor can be swayed toward one particular group. So this provides more transparency within the commission. And just to really quickly wrap up, general election day is Tuesday, November 3rd. People still have time to register. The last day to register to vote is Monday, October 5th. You can register online at https://olvr.hawaii.gov. You can also get a voter registration form at mauicounty.gov. Voters who are registered by the deadline will have a ballot sent to their mailing address. If you'll be away and need to have your ballot delivered to an alternate address, you may submit a one-time absentee application. The absentee mail application deadline is Tuesday, October 27, but we urge you to apply for an absentee ballot right away. The clerk's office says the initial ballot package mailing is tentatively set for October 16th, possibly sooner. The county's voter service centers are open on October 20th. So one of the great things about mail-in ballots is we can vote early, and I really encourage you to take advantage of the early voting. Don't bog down the postal service or the clerk's office. And lastly, don't forget to sign your ballots. I think we had over 500 ballots in the primary that either weren't counted due to missing or mismatched signatures. So that's all for now, and I appreciate you guys' time today. Aloha.
Thank you, Shane.
Can I chime in real quick on the voter issue? Thanks for all that information, Shane. And I just wanted to have voter registration forms at the Hana Farmers Market tent at the Farmers Market every Friday. So if anybody needs to pick one up there, you can. And also mention that the ballot drop-off box is located at the fire station. So if you have any doubt about the postal service or you know it's the last minute and you missed the deadline to get it there in time, you can drop it at the fire station and ensure that your ballot's going to get delivered safely and on time.
Thanks, Scotty.
Chuck, did you have something?
Yeah, it seems like 5 consecutive terms for council members seems excessive. It ought to be a lot less. And why are there no term limits for state senators, period, where they can run their whole life? Why is that?
Good question.
Yeah, I wouldn't know on the state side, but yeah, good question, Chuck.
Yeah.
And we'll be willing to promote any of those if you so choose.
Well, I know, speaking of term limits, we need to talk about our board elections before we close our meeting today. It's 12:17. I did pull up the agenda from what was the agricultural roadshow that we had back in August. You know, this is a really different type of annual meeting for our membership for HBC. We usually have a really nice feast and turnout. And, you know, we've been doing some really great events this year that, you know, including our farmers market, which I know Froyam wanted to make sure we were talking about, but we had this incredible participation from our community at the roadshow this in August, where there were 10 participants, and you would have seen that in your email, that did give some of their food products as part of the show. And we need to just keep talking about how we can do things to similarly engage our food entrepreneurs and help them with their paths of building out their businesses and distribution for products from Hana. So thanks, Shane, for participating in that. It looks like he may have left us, Don, still on the call, but we've been having really good participation with the East Maui Council and are really excited about that Department of Agriculture being a big part of transformation of agricultural economics. So,
and we'll push to keep that going.
Absolutely. If you guys, in the emails and everything, I've been trying to keep the hyperlinks so that you can look at the financial reports, the agenda, various pieces that we're keeping record of for the Business Council. Quickly, I can just go over the financial report. Let's see if here we go. Our current balance is here in our Bank of Hawaii account. We just have one check that hasn't cleared yet from the Food Innovation program that we did, and we've paid our GE taxes, and we have a current payment for our hanamaui.com web development for the program, or for the month. The invoices are attached here, and the check, the one check that we wrote, and our balance sheets. But I have been working with Deborah Daniels' office to go over our accounting program, our QuickBooks account, and really have been trying to clean up old stuff that that didn't make sense with them, and to make sure everything's current in our accounts. So I'm happy to sit down and go over this with anyone who wants to help streamline our process and look at the, all the financials moving forward. It is not, it's open for support for the community, but I think what we typically would do at this point, we need to approve our previous minutes and approve our financial reports. So are any of the board members, have they read through those and have any comments, questions, concerns? Make a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve our previous minutes.
Okay.
Robert here.
He's the chair.
Anyone
second.
second?
Yep, Gary.
As the chair of the meeting, you should call for the motion. Actually make it yourself, Bob.
Well, I understand that, but no one else spoke up.
Yeah.
But,
Brian will second.
okay, very good, Gary. Thank you for the support.
Okay.
We do have to take shortcuts sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we move to the board elections?
Yes.
Oh, did we vote? Oh, all in favor. I got that part, Bob. Scott's here to be the
Parliamentarian.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, this is Brian. I'd like to make a nomination.
Okay, we're moving.
Okay.
Move on to elections. All right.
I have to say part of this is my Kailaku internet keeps cutting in and out.
Yeah.
Okay.
To just keep working on a broadband. Go ahead, Froyam.
Okay, thank you. I would like to nominate someone who has done so much work for Hana Business Council without being a board member, and really a hard worker, great guy, knowledgeable, and that's Max Bowles. And I really believe that he should be on our board of directors, ASAP.
I second that. How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay. Max, welcome to the board. I believe.
And I'd like to make a motion that we elect Jerry Gregory as a full-fledged board member. He's been serving as an interim board member since June, and we definitely can use his hands-on assistance and engagement.
Would anybody like to second that motion?
I'll second that.
Great.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Sure. I'll third that, whatever. Okay. Definitely.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Welcome aboard, Jerry. At least full-time now.
Thank you.
Bob, do you want to speak to Dwayne?
Dwayne is tied up in meetings, but I'll be communicating with Dwayne at the end of the day.
I have to check and see, but I don't know the envelope.
So we also have, well, Dwayne's term is expiring this year, and I spoke with him. Did you want to talk about that, Robert, or did you?
Yes, I spoke with Dwayne yesterday to brief each other on updates, and Dwayne would like to step down. He doesn't want to be renominated for president, and unfortunately for us, he wants to step down from the board of Hana Business Council, although still remaining a member. So Hana Ranch, between Hana Ranch and his other family businesses, his time is, he just doesn't have the time to spend on it, and it has taken up quite a bit of time on his part. So reluctantly, he will be stepping down both as president and board member.
This is Max. I spoke with Heidi briefly. Can people hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
About Dwayne, and I thought it was that he felt there might be a conflict of interest between his activities for the ranch and for the board. If that was the case, conflicts of interest can be dealt with by disclosures and acceptance of the potential conflict. So I think Dwayne was a valuable member, and if it was the conflict of interest issue, there is a way to disclose that and have the board accept his dual roles and keep him active. So I just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah, he did say that he would be happy to remain a member and come to the meetings as things with the path and other activities the ranch is involved in.
That's correct.
We also have Randy Orozco's term expiring this year. He and I spoke earlier before the meeting, and he's happy to remain on the board. And I wanted to make a motion to continue to accept him as a board member for the organization.
I'll second the motion. This is Dawn.
So
is everyone in favor of Randy remaining on the board?
yes.
Aye.
Yes, aye.
And then Froyam, your term is also up, and I believe you've agreed to continue to be serving, but do you want to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I want to stay on the board.
Okay.
I'll nominate Froyam for the board. This is Dawn.
Okay, and a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So
Froyam will be very good, Froyam. Thank you.
we have 2 open seats remaining, and it would be awesome to have members fill those spots just so that we can make sure it's easier to create quorum and, you know, just have more engagement for the year. I rattled on Susie's cage a little bit to say, please come back. And Dawn, you know, your presence and expertise right now, in particular this year with free memberships, the more that we can get people involved with economic development that have knowledge and wisdom and experience here, the better. So, and Chuck as well, business owner, if any of you would like to just join the board and be a presence, we have these monthly meetings. And as you can tell from this one today, very fun.
I'd like to nominate Chuck.
I decline.
Okay.
And I would like to nominate Don.
Chuck, it's different now, Chuck.
Yeah.
It's more better.
Chuck, you have more of a say-so now.
Yeah, I doubt it. Yeah. I have no knowledge, no experience, and no expertise, so I decline.
Don, would you accept a position on the board?
I would like to stay on the board, yes.
Don Lono.
You're still, your term.
I'm not up for another year.
Don, you're on mute. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
there.
is- Well, I kind of wasn't expecting this. I haven't really thought it through thoroughly, but okay, yeah, I guess I'll accept the nomination, and if for some reason I can't handle it, then I will let you guys know, and you can appoint someone else to take my place who might be willing to serve.
Okay.
Okay, I second.
I second the nomination.
And Susan,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
would you be?
Thank you, Don.
Susie, do you think you'd be willing to serve on the board?
I'm willing to serve, and I'm kind of in the same situation as Dawn. I have a lot going on. I mean, I'd like to be involved, but I'm not sure how much time I'd be able to devote to it. But I could probably, I can get to the meetings and, same thing. If there was anybody else who wanted to sit on the board who, would have more time and same thing, expertise and everything to devote to it, I would take a back seat. But if you need someone, I'll sit on the board.
Awesome. So we have another nomination.
Second.
Okay.
Anyone? Okay, everyone in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, those are all of our board positions for the year. So we can move forward with that, and I'll have the minutes submitted afterwards and send it around so that everybody's got the information.
I would like to make a nomination for the president chairperson for the business council.
So we actually don't need to do officer positions until our next board meeting in October.
Okay.
So I think move on the agenda and bring those ideas to the meeting next month. And then another thing that we wanted to bring, because it's really difficult for Eileen to make it to meetings on Mondays, we were talking about possibly moving the board meeting to the third Wednesday of the month. We have Hana Farmers Union meetings, first Wednesday, Mo'olea, second Wednesday. I was just talking to Scott. So I don't know if there's already a third board meeting on the third Wednesday, but does anyone have a conflict on the third Wednesdays of each month if we were to move it?
Yes, this is Dawn. Right now we have our HEPT meetings at 5 o'clock on Wednesdays every week.
Every week we do. Okay. And I usually go to those meetings as well. How about Thursdays?
Does that work for Eileen?
Yep, she said Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Thursday is fine for me.
Okay, and I know that there's a Keahali'i meeting that happens every other Thursday, so it could be hit and miss with those meetings, but if there's no other conflict, then that would be the recommendation to switch it. Go ahead, Susie.
As long I have a commitment on the second Tuesday of every month.
Okay, so
for a board meeting, so I wouldn't be able to do the second Thursday. The second Thursday.
Okay, so this
would be able to do that one.
Third.
I think this is the third Thursday.
Okay. If it's the third, it would be okay.
Okay, we'll have to put some strong training messages in this next month to get that correct. But if we could go ahead and make a motion to switch our meetings to the third Thursday, that would be helpful.
So moved.
I'll make a motion to switch to the third Thursday.
Okay.
Second.
At what time?
4:30, correct?
Yep. Okay. The next thing that we were going to talk about, we have a motion that the board had discuss bringing to the membership this month, and as part of our strategic planning to do a conversion of the current business structure of the HBC to a nonprofit organization. You can see on my screen that do you want to go ahead and read this, Max?
No, everybody can read it for themselves. It's very self-explanatory, I think.
So before we bring the motion, do we want to just talk about this? I know.
Well, I think it should be on the floor to be discussed. So I'll move that I'll move this present motion.
Second.
Could you quickly go over the benefits of being a nonprofit? Just quickly delineate those for everybody.
Yeah. So as we've, let's see, at the beginning of this year, we updated the mission of the Business Council to read, Hana Business Council exists to support business endeavors, create business and employment opportunities within the special culture and traditions, and for the health and welfare of our East Maui area. Through the course of then getting hit with the pandemic and actually having a successful grant with the Office of Economic Development last year with hanabusinesscouncil.com, we thought it would be of benefit to have the organization be more connected with the services that really support entrepreneurialism and business, find other funding through grant writing and through support with other nonprofit organizations to make that conversion. We spoke with Linda about what type of nonprofit to look at, and in that discussion, currently foundations pay, give grants to 501c3s. There are other types of nonprofits for larger and Chamber of Commerce type businesses, but for the size of what the Hana Business Council is, the 501c3 is the type of organization that would best fit our community service mission. And the con of it really was, the concern of being able to potentially support specific political candidates. If there are specific things like road signage and whatnot that are part of political ideas or things that we want to support as a community, or specific things that affect, like Keauhali'i lobbied for helping get grant money for land acquisition. There's things that if they're supporting business and we want to get behind things as a board, we're still able to do that. It's just there are specific things as far as specific candidate campaigns and whatnot that we wouldn't necessarily or have not done before, from what I've heard as an organization. So the idea was to open the door to look at other funding opportunities that could help build business for East Maui that we haven't explored before, and put more of a strategic plan with specific 3 and 5 year planning goals, budgets, and really legitimize the business in a way that we haven't held accountability before to have greater continuity. Anyone else? Did I miss anything? Okay. So.
Does this need to specify 3?
Yeah. So Max put this motion on the table and Scott seconded it. Do we want to do a vote?
Yeah.
What's the motion?
The motion is, whereas upon thorough and proper investigation by the Hana Business Council, directors, it has been determined that the mission and affairs of the HBC would be promoted and benefit from conversion of the present for-profit status of HBC to nonprofit status. Now, therefore, be it moved that the directors and officers of the HBC are hereby authorized to perform any and all acts, including but not limited to file State of Hawaii Form 10X Articles of Conversion and file IRS Form 1023 Application for Recognition of Exemption under Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code, and any other applications, documents, and submittals necessary to accomplish the intent and purposes of this motion. Chuck?
I have a question. If we're a nonprofit, then the Hana Business Council cannot recommend certain people for public office when it comes time for election?
That's my understanding, not specific candidates. We can't get behind specific candidates. We can get behind things, positions that they support, that we want them to support, but not specific people.
I don't know if I like that. That's just me.
Chuck,
That's just me.
Chuck, just for point of information, in the past, has the Hana Business Council actively supported specific candidates?
Same question.
Can't remember.
No.
Actually.
Okay.
No.
Sorry, board
No,
member.
we have not. It's never been an issue
Freud,
that I can remember.
So, Chuck, I want to understand your objection and of why you think that if we had that limitation, it would be not helpful.
Well, because a member of the Chamber of Commerce, I always help vet the candidates every year, and the Chamber of Commerce does a really wonderful job of finding out which candidates are business friendly and which ones aren't. And then they put forward their recommendations, which is really, really helpful for people that don't really know for sure what the people stand for and who to vote for. If Hana Business Council could also have recommendations, I thought that would be helpful for those people who can't do all their homework and can't really figure out who would be the best candidate for us. Seems like, well, like that would be a nice ability to have. We would definitely lose that ability from now on. We're nonprofit now.
Yes, but
Yeah,
it'd probably be a link if the Maui Business Council is vetting these candidates. Aren't they vetting the local Hana candidates as well?
I was talking about the Maui Chamber of Commerce, was always makes recommendations every year.
Yes.
But the Hana Business Council doesn't, obviously, but we never would be able to.
No, I feel that Hana Business Council should stay away from political recommendations because we are a business council.
Yeah, well, so is the Chamber of Commerce.
Well, we're more, the Chamber of Commerce is slightly different than the Hana Business Council, I feel. Hana Business Council is for business. Chamber of Commerce, they get into recommending businesses also and giving business their, in a way, vetting. I feel that's not the Hana Business Council's job. We should treat all businesses equally.
I agree. I don't like
Yeah.
the chamber feeling.
Yeah, it's not up to me. That was just a concern.
No, I understand. But the Hana Business Council, I feel, cannot get involved in politics. We could alienate some of our business members.
Okay.
One thing is that if it seemed to be helpful thing to do, you could still basically send out a survey or a questionnaire to help draw out the candidates' positions on issues without making specific endorsements based on those things. You can't endorse a candidate, but you could still send out a questionnaire to help to people to understand what their positions are on issues that affect the business community in Hana.
I would agree with that. Yes.
That's good. That's good.
Yep. And we might even consider doing that. it's kind of coming up this election quickly here, but we do have council candidates and whatnot that would be interesting to hear if anybody has questions that we think it might be interesting to put on hanamaui.com for East Maui residents that we'd like to have answered as a business council. I think that's a great idea.
Well, if we did something like that, we would have to give input on each candidate.
Yep.
On their outlook on business itself.
Yeah.
But we just don't want, we can't get in a position of siding with any one candidate.
So Chuck, this is Max once more. I guess it was my question. If the Maui Chamber of Commerce is doing that now for candidates, are they doing it for the East Maui candidates as well?
Yes.
Well, then why couldn't we just benefit from your work and have the Hana Business Council have a link to the Maui Chamber of Commerce recommendations or evaluation?
The last I talked to the Maui Chamber of Commerce, they talked about actually, that they were saying that the Hana Business Council was considering being a member of the Maui Chamber of Commerce. And I don't know if they ever got membership, Heidi might know, but certainly you'd think we could at least link to theirs, yeah, so that information could be out there for all the Hana people too.
Yeah, we got a letter, we have correspondence with that. That's really what we need to think about as a strategic planning, order of business is really our memberships and our alliances, how we want to bring those in and establish.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think right now the motion on the table is, to move this, and then we would be, reestablish strategic plan and how we engage with other organizations like that. So.
Okay, well, I'm not holding up the vote, sorry.
No problem. The discussion's great. It's great to have everybody just weigh questions, because this is a big change, council established in the 90s, and this is a big change. So
yeah,
I think the principal motivation after talking to Linda Papua was we would be eligible for foundation grants for economic development if we were a nonprofit, and we would not be eligible if we were a for-profit corporation.
Okay.
That's the principal motive.
Shall we proceed with
Don, I think that answers your question about the advantage of being a nonprofit as opposed to being a for-profit. So financial gains. Right, Heidi?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So I move the question. Let's have a vote.
Okay.
Say all in favor.
So what's the?
Do you want to say all in favor? We have a motion and a second.
Oh,
Yeah, all in favor
Aye.
Aye.
to proceed to become a nonprofit for Hana Business Council.
Aye.
And Robert, you probably should ask for
All in favor.
those in favor.
Aye.
Everyone in favor.
That was all in favor. Yeah.
Yes.
aye.
Is there any opposed?
I only heard one voice.
Aye.
Gary,
Yes, aye, yes.
Brian.
Aye.
Aye. They're coming out.
Okay.
Okay, so it's been determined that we will proceed onward to
Before
getting.
I want to ask if there's any opposing votes.
We have opposition. Are there any opposing votes? Chuck?
No, I'm abstaining.
Great.
Okay, so
Chuck is not a board member.
no, he's not.
I'm not a board member anyway.
Sorry for the confusion.
That's all right.
Any board members opposing?
This is a membership meeting, so all members are eligible to vote, not just board
That's
members.
Yep.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm still abstaining.
Okay. All right. Well, got that movement. It's already 12:49.
Yeah, we have to move on here.
We can move on. I did want to finish with some of the business council things, and namely that I will post the updated membership list. We have had 24 people take up the free offer. We have a new or returning on regular member contribution, and just to get everybody whose membership expired in July notified that they had that expiration. So I'll do that after the meeting today. I didn't.
So with the free membership, did they fill in the proper application and everything for the business?
We did, but there are quite a few yet that have not. So I will do a follow-up mailing specifically to let people know that that we'd like them to do that, and also add directory listings. And if you haven't seen, I think everybody here has done this, but under the Hana Business Council, hanamaui.com website, the membership form is just here to fill that in, and that gets you the free membership, and the links to the paid membership are still on this page. And then that comes with a premium directory listing. So this is where you would submit that. And if anybody needs any help with that, Scott and I are available to walk through that. Chuck, I still need to get your logos. So I tried to do that. Maybe I'll just come and visit you and work that out. But
every picture I have that says the file size is too big, and I don't know what to do. So
yeah, and I put a link in the Dropbox directory for you to help. But like I said, I'm happy to come help do that. We can. And
thanks.
Not a problem. And I also have Daisy, Jerry's wife, and Alicia May helped me with looking at membership outreach. So I really appreciated some of that. The other thing that I wanted to just mention is being, we do have a $10,000 proviso that's under the Holani Hana umbrella as fiscal agent. Again, which is to be split between the emergency preparedness in Hana or in East Maui, but also the HBC. So I'm currently putting the grant information just for half of that, the HBC, continue with funding the conversion and the documentation, the liability insurance costs, and the basic stuff that will go through the form submissions for this. So I'll send that around to the board and membership to see if anybody has any inputs, and I'll put that into the HBC forms that we have before I submit those. And that's due by the end of the month, but I'm going to try to get that done this week. So I'll send that with high importance. We do have bike path community project topic. It's my kuleana to put together a assignment for us to take responsibility on a monthly basis to update the bulletin boards in town, which are under. Is there anything that people to bring to the conversation before we end the meeting today?
No, I think the farmer's market, which is on the agenda here, has been going very well, thanks to Scott and you. I feel it's been successful, although it does diminish a bit when the tickets are not being handed out. But last week I noticed they were handing tickets out again, and there were more people in attendance. But it seems to be going quite well. Just my comment.
Can I ask one question?
Go, yeah.
Is it anybody's understanding or everybody's understanding that October 1st, the tourists will be allowed to return to Maui without quarantine so we can start our business up again? That's the last I heard.
That's the last I heard, but as I brought up to Kalani, the rules seem to change constantly.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're
So
still going.
we're all hoping for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about that. You know,
Actually,
the governor hasn't said anything of any specific date. The last time when he, you know, when he did away with the September 1st, he didn't give a date for October, and I haven't heard anything specific.
Actually,
I did hear someone say October 1st, but I was like, but where did that come from?
no, actually, it was September 26th is what the governor said.
That's right. That sounds right.
Yeah. So I haven't received any, I track it and I haven't received any changes at this point.
Okay, good.
So I hope it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I safe travel program here. Know that online system that hung you up, Bob, going for travel that you have to fill out online and work with that application. But if you're already on, I think, I don't know, I guess we'll find out.
Well, that's my other concern, which unfortunately I went offline during Kalani, is Maui Airport is not accepting handwritten forms anymore. It's all done via an app on the phone. And a lot of people in the terminal, when I came in, only had flip phones. So it was quite backed up at the Kahului terminal 1 week ago when I flew in, including flight crews standing in the long line being vetted by Roberts Hawaii employees. So things are not in real good order yet. We keep hoping.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. I think we've pretty well finished our business. Anything? I don't have.
No, we'll just plan on our next meeting being
October 22nd.
Okay, there you go. October 22nd. Yeah. Okay.
Any new business?
We have a list for next month.
Yes.
I thought you said the third Thursday.
Yeah.
22nd is the fourth Thursday.
Oh.
No, third Thursday isn't that the 22nd of October?
No, it's the 15th of October.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
Okay, good.
I rebooted. The 15th of October.
Okay.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Is that
invite
everybody? Does that work for everybody? The 15th of October?
It does. One more thing I remember, I spoke with, or not spoke, but I'm in email exchange with MICE at the Department of talking the workforce location, you know, not dissimilar to what they have in Kahului, but where we could help people with having good internet connections and meet for doing some job training or online job work, and have it be adjacent to the University of Hawaii Maui College facility there. We need to put together a little write-up indicating our interest in supporting something like that. And I can bring that to the next board meeting and just let NICE know that I brought the topic to the table today. But I did want to, you know, just like trying to reach out to the sign people that, you know, I try, I'll continue doing that for the Adopt Highway program. So we can the table, and Parks and Rec, Hana Community Center is currently closed. So just to have something on the table when they're reopened would be a potential place for people that, you know, like maybe Bob, who's goes in and out in meetings, like if we have a regular where we could have people that needed a better dedicated internet connectivity, then we could extend that to members as well for certain things and for committee meetings. So anyway, that's part of ongoing discussion, just looking at, again, strategic development in our town and creating services to support job and education.
Okay. And next meeting will be an election meeting also.
Through elections, yep.
New officers.
Okay.
So, any other business?
Bye.
Thanks, Liz.
Okay. I move to adjourn the meeting,
All right, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Thank you all.
Very much, everybody. And sorry I have erratic internet and I've been in and out, but so I fell behind on a few subjects, but
We'll have Bill Sides on the next meeting and he can tell us what he's going to do.
yeah, okay, very good. Okay, well, we'll see everybody on the 15th of October.
Great.
Okay. Thank you.
Move to adjourn the meeting. Everyone in favor?
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.